All right, we are live, and the New York Mets just replaced that big old hole in the rotation left when Jacob deGrom scooted down to Texas for his little 5-year deal, whatever. We will never talk about him again. Justin Verlander, welcome to New York. I got the Uncle Stevie Christmas sweater on. Stevie Claus comes early. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Yo, first of all, let's say shout out to Carlos Baerga. I don't know how he had it, but he did. That's a weird twist here. Carlos Baerga announced this last night. Shout out to Steve Cohen. We'll talk about the specifics, but this is an important moment in Mets history because this shows that even when things don't go our way, it's like, whoop, plan B, done immediately. Like, Jake wanted no part of this. We're hearing stories that he ghosted Steve Cohen, never gave the Mets a chance to counter, all that sort of shit, where it's like, people are making fun of us. Oh, what Stevie wants, Stevie gets. What happened here? Well, what he did is turned right around and like 2 seconds later signs a guy coming off of Tommy John who knows how to get back on the mound after an injury. The reigning Cy Young, unanimous lights out. You will get better pitching out of Justin Verlander the next couple years than Jacob deGrom. That's a fact. More consistent and better. I'll take 2 years, 86 over 5 years, 200 any fucking day. So I don't want to hear anybody talking about, well, this is a loss, so we should have got Jake. This is the perfect setup to get. You were going to get 2 to 3 more years of either of these two guys in my mind. There's no way Jacob deGrom has a 5 or 6 year reign the way his arm and his body is built. You were going to get 2 to 3 years of Cy Young pitching. Now we get 2 to 3 years of Cy Young pitching from Justin Verlander instead. And it's a guy who I feel, and the last thing I'll say, so shout out to Carlos. Thank you to Uncle Stevie. I'm happier with Justin Verlander than Jacob deGrom. And the last thing why I love this, is now I can be fully honest and say, fuck you, Jacob deGrom. Fuck off. Done, dude. You're dead to me. I wanted to say it with my fucking chest, and I couldn't because I still loved what you had done, and I still didn't know where we were going. And now that we've replaced you, I can finally say the way that you left was fucking bullshit. You are entitled to do whatever you want, but the way it all went down, we're entitled to say fuck you right back. Justin Verlander is our guy now, the best 1-2 in baseball. Shout out to Chris Castellani. You are officially on the Mets wagon because I can't even imagine what Tigers fans are feeling right now. The floor is yours, boys.
Scherzer, Verlander. I said Castellani is either going to turn into the Joker if the Mets win the World Series, or he's actually just going to be like, I'm really happy for you guys.
No, that would be us. He would do that. Chris would be like, great, guys. I'm happy for you.
All right, Phil, you start preaching to him, baby. Tell me how I'm supposed to feel right now because I feel fucking good. Even with like the World Series bugaboo that got off his back, obviously, which again, thank you to Justin Verlander and all of the Houston Astros for making this not a more painful offseason than it could have been. He's older, but like at the same point, you're getting these short-term deals. There's going to be moves in the future to be made. That money will open up. And he just won the American League Cy Young.
Lights fucking out, by the way. Not like, there was a couple contenders. It was JV all along. He was that dude.
1.75 ERA. And yeah, there was no like who's going to be the AL Cy Young this year. It was like Sandy in the NL. I was like, that guy has it.
No debate. Yeah.
So I feel fucking good right now. If Meek wants to throw some cold water on me, he could do that.
No, he's not going to.
Let's pop some fucking champagne. What are you going to do, Meek, my friend?
No cold water to throw. There's no fucking. By the way, I got to get the hat out. There's no cold water to throw. This is perfect. This is exactly what this team with the window open right now needed. You don't need fucking 5 and 6 years with a guy who's probably only going to pitch 2. You need right now.
3 of his last 4 years, he won the Cy Young twice, and he came in second the only other year. So it's like, all I need is 1 year of Max to be good and 1 year of Verlander to be good, and that's fucking it.
Yep.
I'm the hit pieces on deGrom like after he left. Like that's what the Wilpons used to do. The Wilpons used to sign like shitty players after that, like Porcello and Waka. We're signing the reigning Cy Young. It's like I'd rather.
Yeah, dude. That is the most important part of this. Is like we can debate Jacob and Justin, and like one will come out on top, and all that's like on the baseball field. The off the field, like the idea that it's just like we don't sit back and cry. It's not like we don't have a plan B. As a matter of fact, the way this kind of went down, it almost feels like it was plan A. Like I bet if everybody was honest, Jacob deGrom would say, I was never signing here. And management would say, we know we don't really have a good shot at landing this guy. So it almost feels like maybe this was like, we got to try to at least keep our guy who's like a Met and try to keep him a Met for life. But if not, like, this is kind of the direction we want to go anyway. And it's just the amount of backward, what's it called? Hindsight's 2020 and all that shit. Like, when as Mets fans, when we said Jacob deGrom was, the best pitcher in baseball, all we heard from the haters is that he's Mr. Glass and he's unreliable. And then as soon as he leaves, all of a sudden the story became, well, he just had 2 injuries in a row, like 2 freak injuries. Like, there's no reason to think that he's not durable. Like, what are you talking about? Jacob deGrom is a very often injured pitcher, and anyone who says otherwise is just not watching. Whether it's the 2 big injuries where he misses the full season, including the one in 2021 where we never even heard what the injury was, or the little knick-knack injuries that was always like my side, my back, my shoulder, my arm. He will always be on the DL for some amount of time. And for a guy, I don't even care what Justin Verlander's age is, for a guy who has the major injury and to come back the way he did, pitch into the postseason, all those extra innings, that is what we like. I feel like most Mets fans aren't ready to say it. Like I said, I'm very happy to just say fuck it now. There was always this feeling of like defending Jacob deGrom and hoping for Jacob deGrom and fingers crossed this is the year that he finally keeps it together. Fingers crossed this is the year he finally gets it done in the postseason, all that shit. And now it's like, I don't have to worry about it because I got a guy who's proven that he can do it. Even what his struggles were, he got the monkey off his back there. And like I said last episode, I'll gladly take a bad outing from Justin Verlander in the World Series if he gets us there. I'm over the fucking moon about this.
All I know is Uncle Stevie felt disrespected twice. And now both times he's like, fuck it. Who just won the Cy Young? Let me go get that guy.
Yes.
That is an unbelievable response. Less than 48 hours later. And he's just like, you know what? It's day 1, day 2 of the winter meetings. Yeah, just go get the guy everyone expects us to get anyway. Who gives a shit? And now we're ahead of the game. Everybody can relax a little bit. And then we can go fill in our 2 other spots that we still need to fill in.
I also love the idea of one of the things I think Mets fans often kind of either came up with in their head or said it in defense of Jacob deGrom is that like he was quietly confident and he's not the rah guy, but he's the leader who leads by his play on the field and all that shit. And I just think that Jacob deGrom's not like a leader type in the clubhouse. I think he's just a guy who's like, I show up, I do my job, I make my money, and like fuck off. And I think Verlander and Scherzer are both 2 guys who are like, we will set the tone for this clubhouse. So I think that almost eliminates like an awkward, like it's Jacob deGrom's team, but he doesn't really want that responsibility and he doesn't take on that responsibility. And now you have these 2 like super well-respected guys who get it done and also lead off the field. So you don't have to, no more making excuses or, spin zoning injuries and attitudes and all that shit. It's like, it's a mess that's now gone and replaced with a guy who pitches on that same, there's very few guys who you can say pitch on the level of Jacob deGrom. And probably when he's healthy and pitching, it's nobody, but there's probably 2 or 3 guys that it's like right there. And they just went and got one of them immediately.
I'm just so happy it was over and it's over quickly. Last night I'm sure we were all on our phones. Our screen time for the next week is already through the roof just from that. I'm happy they took care of it quickly. Like Kyle said, Stevie gets fucking shunned. He answers back within 48 hours every single time. That's all you can ask from
Stevie
your
wants. Yep. Stevie gets.
Yes, exactly. And now we have to figure out, the 3, which again, I'm like, oh, who's going to be our 2? Oh, Max or Justin Verlander is our 2, depending how you want to organize. I wouldn't mind a lefty. I wouldn't mind a lefty with it's a free agent as well. I don't know if that's still out there. Do you think we still go after Rodon right now? Or do you think this is kind of like
2 years is not that crazy? Probably not. But when you're talking about, a guy who's young and you got to give him like 5 or 6 years, but you kind of can because you only got to pay Justin for 2.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it could happen. But I mean, and listen, we get Kate Upton. Kate Upton, welcome to the Mets family. Do your fucking cat daddy, baby. Do your cat daddy, your Dougie, whatever other videos that like broke the internet back in the day. That was early Barstool days. I said this last night. I don't know how Kate Upton feels about Barstool, but I do feel like you guys, especially before I was even here, you guys did play a role. And like, I kind of knew about Kate Upton, and I just saw her in my face every single day going to the super page.
You know how hot Kate Upton, like how hot she is, but like how hot meaning like how much she took over the internet. She was so hot. A video of her sitting in a basketball arena like broke the internet. She had like a leather jacket on and jeans, like as much clothing as possible, and everyone's like, that girl is so fucking beautiful. Who the fuck is that? That's when you know you're hot, when it's just like it's like Pam Anderson shit. I'm just at a game and people like need to know who I am. That they are quite the couple together. I know it's kind of what you said last episode. I don't know if you would like it, but I would love a group of a section of Citi Field of guys in blue jeans and no shirts.
I mean, Game Time, hook it up. Like for his first opening, we just get on like the M&M porch and they were all just in jeans, shirtless.
I know it's like
we have to.
It's part of like the fappening, so it's like inherently Oh, Clem's going top off.
Up top on the top for JV, and we're just gonna miss this. Hold on.
If Clem's going top off, let's pop the tops, baby. Let's go. Do it. Fuck yeah!
Verlander's visitors. Verlander's visitors.
Come on. Let's go.
Phil's in like the
too. If I had blue jeans on, it would be perfect. We're going for the whole. If we have a whole section, do you have Muggsy jeans over there? I might have to change. I got my Muggsy jeans for you, Justin. Let's go. Muggsy's got.
Throw up the phone, Kevin. You gotta throw up the phone too.
Sponsor. Muggsy has to sponsor this year, bro. Dude, that is so fucking funny. If we all could you imagine this in Citi Field every time Justin Verlander starts?
I was thinking Verlander's visitors. Does that work? I'm trying to think of something.
Visitors. Oh my god, that's hilarious, man. Dude, Jacob deGrom doesn't get stuff. He doesn't evoke shit like this. He doesn't get you going like this. Come on.
We're gonna catch a YouTube flag over here.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna catch a YouTube flag for this one.
Oh my god.
Okay, so let's regroup. Four naked guys here. Let's settle down. For all you guys know, Clem doesn't have any pants on.
I'm home alone. Yeah, exactly. My house, my rules.
That is so fucking funny. Never in a million years I think you were popping the top, Clem. That was so great.
We were in a dark place on Friday night, and you know what? Like, we needed this. We needed this so bad. This is the fucking kind of free agent. This is the kind of fan base Uncle Stevie has. We are a fucking rabid fan base that just needs a little bit of love, and we will do whatever it fucking takes. We love you so much, and this is and you know, Jake didn't give us this. That's
what I mean. It was never the only excitement with Jake, and it's crazy to say only because it's the most important kind, is like the electricity when you're fucking striking out 10 over 5. But there is something to be said for the rest of it was just such a fucking grind of like, I'm defending you and your fucking injuries. And
it's going to be great when Verlander's like through 4 innings. You're not sitting there wondering, it's like, is he injured?
Yes, right. Everything was always like, oh, you know, his velocity's down on 2 pitches. We've all got to worry about something, or, you know.
The last time we saw Verlander, he virtually threw a no-hitter against the Mets. He had a bunt hit and a dinker down the line, and then he threw 8 innings. And we were like, holy shit, this guy's 40? Not too bad.
I could not care less about his age, man. People are like, oh, you're going to be paying him until you're 43. You know, fine, man. You know, he just won the Cy Young. Just won it. Like, get out of here. Nobody, you know, that didn't. Now, all of a sudden, Jacob deGrom is all of a sudden a great investment for his, you know, late 30s. And all of a sudden, Justin Verlander is damaged goods. Like, you know, it's whatever spin zone they want to diminish what Steve Cohen and the Mets are doing, because that's just always how it fucking works.
I can't believe it. I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. I honestly didn't.
That's what I mean. That's the most important part for like going forward is like it's you know, the same thing with Lindor, the same thing with Baez at the trade deadline. Like, these are watershed moments, like hallmark moments where everything's different. It's how, it's how big teams respond now. It's like if you miss out on plan A, you go with plan B, or, in this case,
Verlander has been my plan A all along, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that, it's an upgrade in every way based on what we know to be. I think also a lot of people don't understand, unless you're watching the Mets and watching Jacob deGrom, just how frustrating it can be. And I think another fan base having to deal with it is going to be interesting to watch. But like, you got two dogs at the top now, two fucking horses. Now, whether or not we saw Max kind of run out of gas in the playoffs a couple years ago, and then down the stretch with the Mets, Verlander has his World Series bugaboo, despite that one start. So maybe like we'll need something else to get you over the top. But as far as getting you there, I don't think, there's a better 1-2. Because the previous best 1-2 was Max and him.
I don't know. You don't think Jacob deGrom and John Gray is a good 1-2?
Yeah, I'm like, well, the Astro. Wait, no, that was one of the Astros' two guys. Is the guys we just got.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we've got that. Like, we had it last year, and unfortunately didn't get to enjoy it. And now we just we lost it before we ever got to enjoy it, and we just got it again because that's what Steve Cohen does.
And he's doing it so early that it's like everyone can take a breath. Now they can get back to whatever other negotiations they were actually working on. He's like, here you go. Everybody shut up. Pay attention to this while I go do the rest of the business that we actually have to take care of. Because Nimmo, Bassett, rest of the rotation, there's holes that they need to fill, but this just makes it take a breath.
That much easier.
I move on.
I don't get all the sentiment of Nimmo's gone and that's okay is crazy to me. I think Nimmo is one of the most valuable people on that team. The way he leads off, the way he works his at bats, and the defense that he grew to play. I can't believe that he's not priority number one now. And again, especially because if your big pitcher now only is 2 years, I think you can give out a long contract to a young guy. And I know he's not a slugger. I know that the game is built around home runs now, but you can't, not everybody can be a fucking slugger. And if you're looking for any other type of consistent baseball player, he's that dude.
There's also not a lot of options out there. They're talking to Benintendi because if, God forbid, they can't get Nimmo back, they need to do something. But it's he should be the guy you're pushing all your chips in for at this point.
Right.
And then especially if they're not going to go out and get a big DH. All of the signs are pointing to
well, yeah, and they already said
right.
Internally, right? DH will be handled internally, which that's a little bit of a disappointment, but what can you do? But yeah, so that's what I mean. If it's not going to be that, it's got to be. You can't go into the season with basically a hole at DH and a hole in center, and you all of a sudden you start taking steps back. So these guys who just cost money, fucking go do it, man.
Yeah.
Short, big splurges. I think it makes sense. And
Frank was wrong, and you'll never get a fucking apology. Yeah, he's not knocking on the door trying to come on the podcast now, is he?
He said he's using the Mets like Mats did. Nope, that's incorrect.
Could not be fucking more wrong. Shout out to Carlos Baerga and that guy who I tweeted last night because he was the one who put it out there on Twitter.
How about his brother Ben Verlander getting scooped on his own brother going to the Mets?
Honestly,
Andy Martino was the one that broke it, but no one can see his tweets.
It's like if a tree falls in the woods. If you break a story, but you've blocked everybody, did you even break the story? If my brother was ever signing, about to make news, and I was in that industry and he didn't tell me first, I'd fucking murder him.
Yep.
I guess we got to welcome Ben into the family now. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe Ben can help us get Ohtani because he loves him so much. I don't know.
Well, and that's the thing with all this is that if Max who was it? Joel Sherman last night was like, hey, by the way, Max has an opt-out next year. It's like, come on, man. But it's like, well, then Ohtani's a free agent next year, and Soto's going to be a free agent.
That's what this year proves.
That's what all
so,
this.
You guys can leave, you can be traded, whatever it's going to be. We now know that they turn right around and fill the spot. So now you can just rest easy.
Yep. And this is what the Dodgers have done a lot. It's they'll just sign that big guy, which if it was us and the Dodgers and we beat the Dodgers, first of all, I just need to hear the Dodgers were in on it. It just makes me feel better. It's like we used to hear the Patriots or the Spurs wanted a guy, or if your team traded with them, you're like, oh, this guy's going to blow up for them so well. If I hear the Dodgers are in, it'll make me feel even better about the signing, which I already feel great about. And then the only difference between us and the Dodgers is the Dodgers go out and make the trades that have to be made. They also have a system that allows them to give away fucking Alvarez or Don Alvarez for fucking Josh Fields or whatever. That's coming down the road. And listen, the trade market's still a thing. We didn't do anything in fucking July, and it drove us nuts. And I still don't think we win the World Series if we make those trades, especially the way Jake and Matt
they were playing down
trending, and Bassett even. So you have the chips. I mean, the other thing is, I'm sure like Epler and them were like, I'd rather not call Vientos up because he fucking sucks, and he sucks in the big leagues. It's gonna be harder to trade him now. I imagine his clock started now, right? Because he started in the bigs, so it probably takes a little bit of value away to the cheap teams out there.
When someone in the comments brought up, it's like if Max opts out of $43.5 million, it's fucking awesome. It's not like Jake's like 30-something million. If Max is good enough to opt out of that much,
we're all good. Like, I'll take it. I want that to happen. Put it that way, because that means we're talking, Cy Young, and you're the World Series MVP also.
Opt-outs mutual, and then the mutual stuff too. It's like if we both think your Verlander's good for that third year, that means something went well the last 2 years.
And then we get Verlander max for 2 years, then we figure out what else after.
And by that point, you're looking at that's by that point that the window of like this regime, if you will.
You hope more prospects are panned out by then.
Exactly. Like by that point, Alvarez will be established on this team, and maybe Marte is starting to decline, or
Marte's off the books at that point too.
Right. So that's what I mean. Like by that point, other people are either coming up, other people are declining, other people are off the books, and so now is that window where you have everything in the right spot. And to be honest, this team last year was so good without the big 1-2 two-headed dragon. They didn't have that. And so now they do. And that's why I really hope that they, like, now to me, the thought would be, let's run it back. Get fucking Nimmo. Get, either some of these guys, bring them back, or equal replacements, because now you can have, hopefully, what you had last year, plus the 1-2 punch that you never got to see except for, maybe a few starts in September.
It's like the big five, right? Or the Flushing, where we had that one cycle where it was all five guys together.
And LCS.
Yeah, exactly. Jay, I just looked up. Max had 23 starts last year, right? Jake had, what did we say it was, 11? And I think he had 5 wins in that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And also, Phil said maybe like there was something weird about deGrom where it was like maybe the team just didn't hit for him because they didn't like the fucking guy.
Yeah,
I don't really know.
I mean, why are we blaming this guy?
Honestly, it did reach the point of like, this can't be coincidence, because it was fucking every single night out there. It did feel it's something. I'm just happy that I don't have to sugarcoat it or even try to figure it out anymore, because there just was something weird about it. And I know that sounds like, you're bashing a guy on the way out the door, and I don't like to do that, but it's also like the way he left. I don't feel like, Mets fans can, he gets to leave the way he wants to leave, and then Mets fans get to respond in turn. So I feel like the way he handled it was really not, from a fan point of view, I don't think it was the way to handle it. Business wise, team wise, all that shit, go ahead. From a fan point of view, like, no goodbye, no nothing, no talk, no chance to counter. Fine, like, peace out, be gone. But the idea that maybe he was just never, like, he hated New York, maybe he hated the players, maybe he doesn't like Steve Cohen, maybe, whatever there is.
The theory that Boomer and Gio tossed out, it's like they offered to like fly him up from Florida once every 5 days for a start.
That would be, honestly, as bad as I would want Jacob deGrom back on this team, if you're flying him in and out for starts, I can't. You gotta have like a level of pride at some point. Like, come on, we can't get that crazy here. But and you know what I can be honest about? I knew it last year, and I didn't want to say it. That start in Oakland, that was it. When he bombed in Oakland, that was the moment I knew that we were not winning the division. That was when like all the wheels started to fall off for me, and I rode for them for so long, and I couldn't just like jump off at that point and be like, we're fucked. But that start in Oakland, I could not believe that he shit the bed that day. And, everybody deserves to have like a bad start. But when that happened, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Good news for Jake because he'll have plenty more starts versus the Oakland A's now.
There's plenty of Texas Rangers, Oakland A's games that nobody will watch and nobody will care about and no media will cover. And you will have to answer 0 tough questions. And when you want to sit out because you have your elbow's barking, you can do that. And when you only start, 13 games a year, you can do that. And nobody cares.
I hope they give Verlander 48 too. That'd be
fun.
fun.
That'd be awesome.
Jesus Christ.
That would be awesome, bro. I would love every second of that.
And that's the thing about Verlander, and it's like a bitter fan thing. It is like that weird. The whole thing with Jake, and I don't even care about this. I didn't even think about it until I was on the Mets Reddit, and they're like, "Did Jake ever release like a statement like, thanks?" And I was like, "Oh shit, he never said like thanks to Mets fans." And I don't need it, but it is just one of those weird kind of things.
You don't need it, but it's something that everybody else does, and for him to not do is kind of like a signal, you know what I mean?
had a family member say to me, this was before the signing because we were at Thanksgiving, and she was like, not for nothing, dude's been here for like a decade. Like, he doesn't have any foundations. He doesn't do any like the Christmas shit where they have all the players dressing up. She's like, he has been a ghost since the second he got here, and nobody said a word to him about it. She's like, he doesn't like it here.
That's fine though.
Like, he never set down roots. It's like, yeah, it is what it is.
You don't have to.
But he's the one player that I don't think anybody's given him shit the whole way through. Like, he's never been booed off the mound.
Yeah.
Like,
no, he's
always got like, oh, he'll get healthy again. Like, we gave him every benefit of the doubt, and then to treat you like just skate out the back door,
especially when you baby him physically. Like, you let him take, you don't have to pitch ever if you don't want to. You're clearing your scans and everything's fine, and you just don't go out there. We never sent you even into like the 6th inning. You never went over 100 pitches, and then you're basically going to take that extra, those extra years and give them to somebody else. Again, all's fair in love and war as professionals, the whole 9. You don't have to be Santa Claus at the Christmas party. You don't have to, donate to the kids, but there's a reason why you don't do those things. And there's a reason why you walk as soon as you can. And then to me, that means, we have every right to turn around and be like, well, we love Justin Verlander just as much as we love you now. Peace.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is Justin Verlander wants to be here, whether it's because of the money or whatever else reason, he wants to be here. So especially as like Northeastern fans that are going to be living in hell for the next 3 months, we have that like thick shell about us, and we are going to embrace this motherfucker. And as my guy here, Kevin Knight, Stevie Mac 23. Don't forget Verlander and Upton. We're flipping off Phillies fans during the World Series.
Yeah.
That's our fucking. This is the kind of guys I want.
Frank with that picture. I've got to believe.
Can we get Kate Upton as Mrs. Claus too? Run it back Anna Benson style.
Go. Also, I always loved those Tigers teams and Verlander for beating up on the Yankees. So there's always been a soft spot in my heart for him. And now it's almost like getting Pedro, like a guy that I loved watching, like not on my team, and then we got to see him at the tail end of his career, like run that same thing back with Verlander, man. It's just, as long as if he pitches the way we saw him pitch this year, it's just easy, where everything else was always pretty fucking hard with Jake, not gonna lie.
We were saying it like every start or whatever. It was every pitch for me by the end. I would text you guys, be like, "Did he like wince after that start 3?" And it was tough, man. It was tough, and he kind of said, "This is like the curse of Jacob deGrom, where you're going to watch the best pitcher you've ever seen, but you're also going to freak out in your head every single time, doubly, triply, infinity times." So as Mets fans, Verlander's a Haas for the most part. Obviously, I'm looking at his starts here. 28 last year, 1 in 2020 when he got hurt, obviously, the year off. But then before that, 34, 5 with Houston, 28, 34, 20. So the guy's a fucking Haas if he's healthy. Yeah. And Cy Young, his last 3 full seasons, 2 Cy Youngs and second place.
and it's almost like I remember this early with Jake when there was no worry about Tommy John because he got it out of the way early in his career. This is a fresh, like, new elbow in the sense of, it's been recreated. So kind of the worry that you have usually about a 40, 41, 42-year-old, it already happened when he was 38, 39. So technically, you hope that, and it's like he bounced right back. Remember Matt Harvey? He had the record for most innings after a Tommy John, after we were all giving him a hard time. And it was like, wait a minute, he actually turned around and did something nobody else has ever done. Well, Verlander just did that, on like the highest level possible.
And
So,
Verlander's in much better shape than whatever Harvey
right.
was in.
And so to be like I saw someone who said, really, you're excited about a 40-year-old who just had Tommy John a couple years ago? But he won the Cy Young after that. So the Tommy John doesn't really matter, you fucking morons. People will just try to do anything to diminish what is obviously a very good move and a great, like a picture perfect. Who could you replace Jacob deGrom with?
Literally outside of Verlander, Rodon, but I don't think that was ever possible.
But not, you know what I mean? Like,
he doesn't come with that pedigree though. Rodon is just
right.
for a couple of years. Like this,
the only
known entity. If he's healthy, he's who he is, and you know it.
Only, I mean, obviously like Alcantara, right? But like other than that, like the only guy I would be like, I know what I'm gonna get. You know, even if you replace him with even if you replace him with Ohtani, like what if Ohtani has a bad year for the first time in his career next year, and we don't know how. Like it's a known quantity that can somehow, some way replace Jacob deGrom, and if he's healthy, actually exceed him. It's the fact that the Mets turned right around. Not many teams out there can fill a hole like Jacob deGrom and do it in like 2 days.
And the thing about Rodon is he comes with some injury question marks in his own right without as much of the longevity and pedigree of Verlander. So
Verlander 12th all time in strikeouts, Scherzer 13th, and they're like,
I think Verlander's a
five. They're 7 apart from each other. 5 apart from each other. So they're just gonna be going back and forth, flipping on the all-time list all summer long.
They got to get a Verlander, the K counter that we got, for Scherzer, and they have to. Those two just fucking every single start, just back and forth. They're going to be doing that.
God,
we're gonna have to ask Castellani at some point just to give us like the Verlander, the locker room guy, like the shit like that, right? Because remember when we were talking to the guys at the stadium, and it was like Bassett was like the glue that held the fucking clubhouse together, right? Every story that was a good story, Bassett was in the middle of somehow, some way. He was playing ping pong. He was, he was the one who told Vogie to come out to Sexy Back, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I got to hear Verlander's.
And you know what's good too is him and Upton have been together for so long that like I think when they first got together, it was like celebrity gossip and there was probably some bumps in the road and she was at every game and the fans didn't like it. Well, all those trials and tribulations you go through when you're a celebrity couple. But now they're just like a married couple and there's no drama with that. It's like everything is all good, man. I can't believe how I would never have imagined I would be this happy and this relaxed if you told me that Jacob deGrom bounced. Like coming into it, I was like, you have to sign him. And they didn't, and I'm okay with it because they turned right. I never thought Justin Verlander was an option. I mean, I thought that they would kick the tires on everybody, but I never in a million years thought Justin Verlander would pitch here the same way I never thought Max would. Did you guys ever think like up until like this last week when they said there's some talks going on, were you ever like, that's a good fit, let's make that happen? I never thought it would be a possibility.
Who, Verlander?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I was thinking if we didn't get Jake, I was like, they better fucking go get Verlander. Max, I mean, you go back to last year's podcast, we didn't mention Max once. We didn't mention Marte once because we were in the Wilpon mindset.
Right.
This has to be the, like, I say this, like, I've said this like 7 times in the last calendar year. This is now the moment where you have to realize everything has changed. This is that you have to think big. You're thinking fucking first page of the Pornhub page. We're not going to 7, 8, 9. Rick Porcello retired today. That is a fucking metaphor for the difference in the world, right? That really fucking guy was supposed to be like going to battle for like our 3 spot basically when Brody was here, and now Justin Verlander is. And it's
another nail in the fucking coffin. It's another 6 feet of dirt piled on top of the already 6 feet of dirt for all the fucking Fleming's lemmings, all the negativity, all of the, the sky is falling every time something goes wrong. Nope. Once again, Steve Cohen prevails, as he always does, as he always will.
So, this other thing, Verlander's at 254 wins in his career, probably the last guy that could probably get 300. He'd need 19 wins a year over the next 3 to get to 300.
I think you're asking a lot, but
it's possible.
It's possible because I also think that maybe being the last guy who can do it, maybe he's got his sights set on that, and he's like, I gotta pitch like 5 more years. So let's make sure I take care of my body. I take care, I do everything right because I gotta be able to pitch, 5 more years of 10 wins each.
And maybe he's just a great guy that guys want to score runs for him.
I will say that World Series start did it shouldn't even matter because get to the World Series. I don't worry about Justin Verlander's problem winning World Series games, but it's that was just the last thing that was just lingering above it.
Yeah, I mean the World Series thing kind of makes sense where it's by that point you've thrown how many extra innings? You're facing a team that's obviously very hot. It's hard to pitch the final series of the year. And he was on the wrong end of it, but that sample size is big enough to be worried about, but small enough that if he goes out and wins another one, it's oh, well, I don't know. Sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses, not a big deal. So how about this? Let's find out. How about we find out?
Yeah, exactly. His career ERA in the ALDS is 3.08. His ALCS is 3.01, and his World Series 5 games is 5.63. So it's not a postseason thing because I plan on being in the postseason every year from here until Uncle Stevie sells the team.
And that's a difference too, by the way. Justin Verlander wants to play somewhere where he's pitching for a ring, playing for a championship. Justin Verlander ain't going to the fucking Texas Rangers, bro.
I wonder if the Rangers called him. It's hey, you want to come play? And he's nah.
He's probably no, thank you, goodbye.
Wait,
hey, you don't even have to leave Texas. Yeah, no thanks, man.
You're the AAA team for the team I was just playing for. No, thank you. I'm fucking good.
Get out.
They also so Scherzer and Verlander also live down the road from each other full time in their houses in Jupiter, which is right around the corner from the Mets facility. So they're going to be there, getting ready all winter long, hanging out, laughing it up. That's all. So now, where do we shift? That's what I want to know because Cookie Carrasco is not our number 3 pitcher, but he is right now. So Rodon, I just saw he's looking for 6 years. Bassett, do you bring Bassett back on a big contract because he just eats?
Bassett at what number though? Bassett's numbers, they're talking about him getting big money.
And 4 years, he wants at least 4 years. Chris, did you watch the end of the season, man?
Right. But I guess he's did you watch the beginning of the season?
Yeah, he was a very durable innings eater that got us to the playoffs.
That is, especially, I guess, more so last year when you had injuries and you got babies like deGrom or you had the baby guys. Having a dude who could go 7 and maybe even sometimes 8 was invaluable. But you get a couple, healthy horses at the top of your rotation. That's not as necessary. I would love to have him back. It's just, it sounded like he was going to get, top tier, second tier free agent money. That seems a little crazy to me. I think you can find other innings eaters. No,
yeah.
I'm open to all the 3-starter options, whether it's Tyone, Bassett, Senga. I'm open to a lot of these options. It's just you got to pick the right one.
Rodon is asking for what's his expectation?
I think it's 6,150. He's gonna get paid, but he also comes with
that's 35 a year ish.
He comes with the qualifying offer, so it's a 2nd-round pick, a 5th-round pick, international money, and they kind of want to stay away from that.
Yeah, that is the whole system they're trying to build, but I don't know, man. 150 these days seems like a steal, which is crazy. But
look, I'd do it to have it, but I don't think that's in their plans. If I have to guess,
there's just not many others, right?
They just need one more. Then I think they could just hold the rest of it together with duct tape.
The difference of Carrasco as a 3rd and a 4th is huge. As a 4th, it's
Yeah.
But
and you have to also we are talking about the age of the top 2. Cookie's no fucking baby either. So it's you have 3 old fucks.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. The window is now. So it's I'm not even worried about a guy that I'm going to be able to pitch in 2027. I'm talking about 23, 24 basically is your chance right now. So.
Tyone is injury prone. The dude steps off the curb wrong and he could be out for the whole
season. He did just pitch 180-ish innings this year though. So
yeah, but he fucked up his ankle. He just happened to come back in time.
Is there any hope for Tyler McGill to be what he was and Peterson to round into a reliable pitcher?
More on Peterson than McGill, and I think.
Yeah. Peterson had a 3.64 ERA last year, 1.3 WHIP, not great. But he's also
I always had a little bit of hope in McGill because he's a fucking beast, an ogre. You can't teach 6'7", whatever he is. So
but he has a cool name too. That's part of it. And
what's that?
He has a cool name. Tyler is a cool name.
Cool name. I like his family. I wanted him to be good.
Yeah.
He unexpectedly was. I mean, it was a nice ride with him. So I have rose-colored glasses with
Hope
him.
he's not starting opening day ever again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which again, thank you, Jake, for that. That was a nice little surprise for us to have, like the night before the season started.
As always.
96ers. I wonder what our over-under is going to come in. I guess there's still plenty of shit to go down before they're going to come up with a number. But the 96ers are feeling good right now. I mean, I have to be above the number. I can't go below the number. So at this rate, and by the way, so I'm looking at Peterson's numbers from last year. ERA 3.83. Then like the xERA FIP, his FIP was 3.64, xFIP 3.31. That's like the advanced stats. And Verlander's numbers are always worse. Peterson's were better, which is hypothetically a good thing. I like Peterson as like just slotting him in as your 5. Again, that's a guy. I'm just like an idiot. I love having a lefty in the rotation. And
yeah,
I don't know if
a lefty number 5 is, the problem is when you're relying on these guys to be your aces, that's when you're fucked. These guys are perfectly fine on the back end.
Yeah, and I'm telling you,
middle.
If Peterson grew his hair out and dyed it blonde, because it's so much of it is that we see Steven Matz when he's out there, and you have to make someone who looks nothing like Steven Matz because you just
but then he looks like Noah, and I don't want
but
that
not
either.
lefty Noah. Noah wasn't a lefty though. Noah wasn't a lefty, so yeah.
It really is like
I green.
Baseball is about your 3 starter. Like it's a metaphor for life and for baseball. You can go sign your aces. You can go find, a minor leaguer or a journeyman and slop it and throw it together in the back end. It's that middle guy. How do you find him at the right price? And how do you pick the right guy who bridges the gap? And that more often than not, I think leads to a lot of, that's how you sustain winning streaks and win series and turn it over. Who is that man going to be?
That's the Bobby Ojeda, right? In 86, you always heard Bobby O, this and that, right? And even Bassett this year was
Bassett was a huge part of it, man.
He was a huge part of it.
He was a guy I remember saying, I was like, I want him in the big game until we had the big game.
And then
the big games kicked his fucking ass.
Even if Bassett gets money elsewhere, I still do that trade like 10 times.
Oh, absolutely. That was well worth it. Well worth it.
Was that Epler? I don't even know. We've had so many GMs.
That was Epler. We traded JT Ginn and Adam Holler, who stinks.
God, do you remember what was homeboy's name? What was his name? I remember it. Jared something.
Jared Hughes.
Oh,
Porter was the other GM.
Porter. Jared Porter? Jared Porter.
Yeah.
And then who was the idiot who was caught behind the wheel?
Zach Scott, who's with the Red Sox right now.
Jesus Christ. This is like fucking Guess Who with them popping up and down. I legitimately just don't remember that. All I remember is he got caught behind the wheel asleep.
Porter was like one last, like the universe, the sports gods had already planned this out for the Mets, and Cohen swooped in and they were like, okay, Cohen bought you, but like I already scheduled the tweet, so it's already going to be sent. They're going to have a fucking pervert for a couple months, and then you can go, one last thing before you head on to the new era. I will forever and always ride with Steve Cohen to the depths because he does shit like this. Fucking gangster. See you later.
We get to wait for his tweet too now. See what welcome to New York. Justin, I'm someone that wants to come in and compete for a championship in New York. Like Steve, if you want to get a little, subtweeting, that's
let's go.
I would not be against that at all. Jake's not even going to. Jake doesn't.
Oh, that's the funny part about this. Jake doesn't care what we say, what they say, what Justin Verlander does, what the Mets do. Jake doesn't care what the Texas Rangers do, man. He doesn't give a fuck. That's actually why he was so able. Meek's famous tweet that he has pinned with the photo.
I unpinned it, by the way.
Oh,
but the has not killed a teammate this year. The reason why he was always like able to go out there and do that despite the pitching, despite the no run support, it's because he didn't care. It's like, well, did we win today? Did we lose today? What's my record? Whatever, man. I throw balls. I get paid. Don't care. See you later.
The guy had long hair for like 2 years. He's like, I don't even like it, but they're making me keep it.
Yeah.
Different dude, man. Different dude. And we
you
have
know
a different
what? The
dude
more
here.
we talk, the more I'm like, I don't think I'd like baseball at all if I were him by the time it came to this.
Yeah, no, I'm with him. It's like he has. I've always said I wouldn't want to play in this city, and I totally get it. But then when you act that way, we have every right to be like, all right, well, it's a breakup, and he broke up with us. He didn't even give us a chance to get closure. And then we have every right to be like, fuck you. Look at my new boyfriend.
And I've said it, Kev. Like Kev got me in the bar stool by always talking about the Mets the way I would think about the Mets. He would write about the Mets, and he always talk about like all the shitty parts of the city. The way I was always like, yeah, I fucking hate this place. I love it, but I hate it too. Like it's your home, and you can say it. Where if someone else says it, you're like, fuck you. And Jake is probably like, yeah, man, you're 100% right on all this stuff. It was a clown shoot franchise from the beginning, and the city is always a shit show. But did you even see Keith tweeted out the other day? Did you see what Keith tweeted out?
Yeah, just very like cryptically, right?
Yeah, it was like some poem about like winning in New York and how it's or not winning, but just like being in New York. And if you want to fulfill something, you can fulfill it here, but it's not for like the week, basically. But if you'll find it, and it'll basically chew you up and spit you out if you don't find it. And that was all. It was just like a picture, and I'm like, fucking Keith is going out of his way. Yeah. Like he had to have someone walk him through how to fucking send that. Like,
I also think, he had to find it, save it, upload it. No chance.
Haji, there's more of a chance Haji tweeted that than Keith Hernandez tweeted.
I do think that you'll see. You're already kind of seeing it from the reporters, which is half Bush League, but also I think half understandable. When you are around the guy for fucking 9 years and he never gives you any fucking sound bites, doesn't really give you interviews, is probably like a dick to you or like, blows you off and he's smug, whatever it may be. Eventually, I think those guys are like, fuck this dude, but they can't say it because he's like the crown jewel of the franchise. So I think you're going to see, maybe Keith, you'll hear from Keith Hernandez being like, yeah, Jake was never like built for New York. The beat reporters are already kind of throwing him under the bus. Fucking John Heyman is like putting a MAGA hat on him, basically making it about politics.
Wait,
so
you wrote Northern Rules.
The Northern Rules of 20. Jacob deGrom was not a fan of the Northern Rules. I was like, what? We're not talking about the fucking Emancipation Proclamation here, John. Jesus Christ, the Northern Rules. Imagine Jake being like, man, I got to get back down Southern. I got to get south of the Mason-Dixon line. They got too many rules up here in the north that I don't like. Jesus.
I can see someone going to Jake at his country club in Florida, like, Jake, how are the Yankees looking this year? They're all Yankees to me up there.
But you know what? There is always that chance, too, that he's a Florida boy and a down south boy, and he fucking hates, people like us, people like me. And I get it. So, goodbye.
We hate ourselves too, man. It's just fucking welcome. That's why we get along so great. Because
it really was a toxic relationship, and it was fireworks. It was great sex when we were good, and a disaster every other time. Now it's a breakup. Now we got our new. We're gonna put a ring on it with Justin Verlander.
Oh, Justin Verlander's from Virginia. I feel like that's pretty neutral.
Right in the middle, we're good.
That should be good. I don't know where that's under the Mason-Dixon line, right? I'm just trying to figure this out. Kate Upton's back is in our lives now. That might become the new Mama Conforto, actually. Mama Conforto still not retired.
Still
not retired, Kyle. She's still out there.
I just followed Kate Upton from the We Gotta Believe account. We're in, boys.
We're in. And then. All right. Do we all want to spend like the Jake? So the Jake money, and again, there's no such thing as money. It's a relative object.
I mean, they usually gave Verlander the contract they would have given Jake.
Right. So like exactly. to me, it's flat. Like you're not.
They gave it to him minus a year because I think
that's the thing. It's not as long though.
Concrete, yeah. So it's like they could get somebody on a longer contract if you're like, hey, how about we just fucking win in the next 2 years? We'll backload you and pay you a ridiculous AAV once Scherzer's contract's off the books. Like, you just swap them.
When you have short, high value, short term, you can get creative with shit. You know, so you can give Rodon 5 years and not really start paying him until the other guys are off the books.
And that's what the Dodgers have always tried to do for guys for years, although they haven't landed one. Like they tried to get Harper on like 4,200 or something stupid like that. They tried to get Aaron Judge on a similar deal. That's not happening. It's like when you give out those NBA style contracts, I'll say like short years, like you have everything opened up to you.
I do like the idea too. When the Yankees announced that they've signed Aaron Judge, it was going to be a lot of talk about, the Yankees are still top dog and they get their man and the Mets can't land theirs and blah, blah, blah. And you kind of swoop right in and steal that thunder. So that's good.
Yeah. And I've seen it already in the replies that I'm getting where it's like you giving a guy this much money at that age.
Every free agent contract's a fucking risk. That's what they don't get.
That's exactly what
giving out a short-term deal to the reigning Cy Young is probably the least risky thing you can do.
Yes, you're correct. But everything has a risk. It's just different levels of risk.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
They're all risks, but this guy has a newly constructed elbow. The chances of him getting a major injury again is probably at their lowest right now when you just came off of it.
So that's why I want everyone just to ignore the fucking haters. You're going to hear it on your text threads with your Yankees friends and your Phillies friends or on Twitter, whatever the fuck digital hellscape you're on. Just be fucking happy, man. We got the guy we needed to, like, didn't even want to get. This was a need more than a want, in my opinion, right? Once Jake left. And that was actually, again, I am basically, I think it should be a no Frank zone on this podcast. Frank has his own podcast. He can rant. And
yeah, you want to hear Frank?
Once he broke. Yeah,
I broke the news to Frank on the middle of Troops' stream, and he was like, "I don't buy it." I'm like, "Well, Andy Martino tweeted it, so I need someone else." Like,
I said this. I said once I would always entertain Frank with the back and forth and the screaming and stuff like that. But once he broke the bet, it's like, well, if you're just gonna rant and be crazy, and then when you lose a bet based on what you say, if you're gonna do that, then it's like, what's the point of me?
There's
you can't play like it. There's no repercussions. It's nonsense. So I said I'm done with it. But I know he told the people, he's like, it was a must-have sign, so it doesn't count. It's you're not happy. You had to do it. You know what I mean? It's like beating the A's in September. You have to fucking do it, right? Yeah. But I'm very happy about Verlander being here. I think do we go above and beyond for Nimmo now? Because the center field market.
I absolutely would, man.
Maybe Reynolds.
I don't think you're gonna. I don't, unless I'm wrong, and I don't know the full scope of free agents available. I think he's the most sure thing bat out there. No. I mean, I guess like Turner, if you're going to go crazy for something.
No, yeah, because the center fielders after Nemo and free agencies like Bellinger, Kiermaier, like those guys are meh.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate the idea of
a stud. That's the difference.
I don't hate the idea of maybe trying out not as a replacement for Nemo, but a guy like Bellinger where maybe is he one of the guys that the shift fucked up? Is he a change of scenery? Does that help him? I mean, I know it's not easier to play in New York, but anybody who has like MVP caliber play at some point in their life, I'll always give a look.
I don't know if he could play center, but Nick Plummer, he was like our savior for like a week straight. I mean, we had fucking multiple shirts being fucking drawn. I know Rico drew up a shirt. We drew up a shirt for Nick fucking Plummer. It was incredible.
Hated it and I loved it. Last season was the best and the worst all at once. God damn.
Here's one little tidbit. Justin Verlander in his career versus the Oakland Athletics. 173 innings pitched, 2.49 ERA. You can pitch versus the Oakland A's.
There you go.
Is next year the first year where it's the opening where we play everybody?
We do play the Oakland A's.
So we need to be ready to fucking beat the Oakland A's. Hopefully it's not. And lesson learned, we said it like all season last year, and I don't think we ever addressed it on the pod. If that fucking September looks like cake, I am not celebrating and being like, don't worry, September will be fine. This is a gauntlet part 3, but don't worry, September will fuck you no matter what, and it doesn't just have to be the Marlins to do it to you.
All right, boys.
Yeah. And listen, this is the other thing we didn't talk about with Jake. Diaz was taken care of before this even started. Yeah. Thank the fucking Lord.
The day after the World Series, done.
Yeah. Done deal. We have our closer. We lost our big boy bullpen coach to become the Braves AAA pitching coach, which fucking guts me. I can't even say his name, but I knew it was funny and weird, and I loved him. And he hated Yankees fans, so I loved him even more.
He was awesome. I did like him.
He was awesome, but it is what it is. We got Justin fucking Verlander, and I'm telling you, boys, it's not over. I expect at least like one more move during the winter meetings, right? I don't know if it'll be the pitcher or
the winter meeting is going to be insane. So yeah,
that's what if Phil says it. I take it as the truth. So we said it after Jake left, and we're going to say it after Justin Verlander arrives. Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Everybody.